some reason. Like, okay, there we go. We got things set. Uh, how are you doing this evening? This is T-Mac for T-Mac's American Experience. We're doing a live. We're doing a Q&A, going over some exciting stuff, and we're going over good news and bad news and everything all the way around. So I'm gonna try to give some people a few minutes to get in here. Uh, see, Chrissy, Dan, Erica, hello. Sorry, Eric, hello. Appreciate you being here. And once we give I'm gonna kind of just give a introduction. Had an interesting hike out with cameraman. Got some very interesting evidence, and out in the place where I was with him before, where we caught evidence, and that's been bugging the heck out of me as to what the heck the noise was. And I finally matched it to baboons. So that was one of the starts of this. We in October, me, Jack, and MT caught, it's like the noises, I could not, it's like this one intrigued me. I matched it to baboons. It doesn't make any sense. Couldn't figure out why. Now, me and Jack were out, and and both of us had it, but even probably more so me, had just a total. Murphy went along for us the hike. If you're not familiar with Murphy, it's Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. It was kind of the night we were having. Really cold night. Nothing wanted of our equipment, both electrical and non-electrical. Nothing wanted to cooperate. So, and if you watch that video, so I took a dive there. I fell, busted some of my equipment, and and I'm 3 miles away from my car, but I didn't have a backup for that anyway. Didn't think I was going to need it, but I was wondering that, Dan, when you said dating them. I'm like, well, I like going out to look for these things, but I'm not real interested in dating them. So, okay, so I guess one of the things I want to start with here, I like to end things on high notes or whatever, or leave you with good news and all that stuff. So there's good news, bad news, and I think what I'm going to do is we'll start with bad news first, and that is this. I fell. It busted some of my equipment. I still improvised, adapt, and overcome. Couldn't use the thermal, which the thermal was working just phenomenal for that area, and it was really the hike was hindered because we didn't have that. We had stuff around us that we probably would have seen. Hello, Steve. Thanks for joining. So the fall, I was a little bit sore from it, but I was already in just this massive amount of pain anyway, and have been fighting with the VA to get my appointments. Most of you know I'm listed as 100% permanent and totally disabled because they exposed me a whole bunch of stuff. I got some injuries from Iraq and Afghanistan, and they exposed me to a lot of very heavily toxic stuff. And when the doctor who was evaluating me for the rating told me, here's some of the things that are going to happen to you, but he said the stuff that you were exposed to, it's going to rot your bones and soft tissue out. And he said, it was even telling me, this is 2 years ago, saying that, the only thing that has to happen from here on is trying to slow that rate of decay, removing any toxins that are in your life out as much as you can. Healthy diet, all that stuff, exercise, keeping muscles strong. So that's what I tried to do, and also tried to live, because doctor said, he's like, I think you'll make it your 10 years that you need for your spouse and your child to get your benefits. For those of you who don't aware, when you get put on as permanently and totally disabled, for your spouse and your children to get your benefits, you have to live 10 years. And of course, they have to stay with you. Um, so, because it's designed for they're designed for the veteran, but it's also designed that um, they're trying to, a lot of people after they were getting their put on as 100% disabled, and it was because they were in a lot of pain. They were committing suicide at a very high rate, and so they said, "You got to live for 10 years." So it's like, okay, what's a good goal? All right, I live for 10 years. So um, I had been calling the VA to trying to get appointments. Who they kept telling me, yes, we're going to get you appointments, and then did nothing, and have for months just stalled me out without getting me appointments. And now I was able to call them and said, hey, I've been begging you for appointments. You haven't seen me, and now I fell. Well, then they started to scramble because they're now legally liable. Hello, Heather. Now they realize, we got to do something for this guy or he can sue us. So now they got me in to check me, and the horrendous experience it was going into the VA's. I have to go to Erie, Pennsylvania, to their VA, going into their emergency room was a total nightmare with just what I seen. But they made me wait 6 hours so that they could do an x-ray on me. And then that was it. And they did, but they had an x-ray before that. They had all kinds of stuff, all my information from before that they were comparing it to. And I think the doctor made me wait longer because I think he was afraid to come in and say stuff because he thought I didn't already know this. G&B, hello, thank you. Okay, so kind of trying to make those long stories short, but the doctor walked in and asked me, "You're not expecting to live a long life, are you?" And so I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "I just want quality of life." So he said, "Good, that's the right attitude to have. That's possible." So right off the bat, he's not telling me anything I didn't know, and I think he was kind of surprised that that really didn't faze me when he said that. But he said, the initial scans, and we're going to send you for a lot more. Initial scans say that your bones and your cartilage are deteriorating at a rapid rate, like far beyond what they thought they were. So he said, if this is not slowed down and put under control, that they said, it's probably 3 years before you're totally crippled and you're not even able to do much of anything. And pretty much described the slow, grim death that I'll face. So, which not incredibly surprising, but it's a little bit sooner than what I thought. So I have to do some stuff here to try to slow this down because I don't feel like dying in about 5 years. So I'd like to make it a little longer than that. So, but the news wasn't real good. So, but the good news was actually falling on this hike helped me get seen and is able to help me get onto hopefully a plan with getting treated and get this slowed down. The way I'm looking at it is I got a lot of hikes left in me. So, and there's the other thing that I look at with death. Okay, let's say my faith in Christ comes first. Death doesn't have the sting with me, and I look at it the same way. I'm going to quote from Paul: "For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain." So, well, it's kind of bad. It's kind of bad news, but it's working out into some good things here, and one of my close friends asked me, knowing what you know now, would you have not went in to serve if you'd have known this was going to be the outcome? And my answer is I absolutely would do the same thing over. Absolutely. Well, there has, just I kind of go with, it's like the enemy has plans for evil. God turns them to good. And that's what's happened with all of this. If I hadn't served in the military, and I hadn't had, I hadn't had this done, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys right now. I would be still working probably 70 and 80 hours a week. So, and um, so that's kind of how that goes. And now I get to be here with you guys, and I've met a whole bunch of you guys, and it's been a blessing. So that said, that's the personal update, and we get that out of the way. So like I said, I'm looking at it as I got a lot of hikes left in me. I'm not going to stop. I do gotta make sure that I take a little more precautions, especially if I walk off trail. What happened and why I fell, I started to rush because Jack seen, and my thermal camera was picking up some deer that were off in the woods that we were trying as hard as we could to see with our own eyes and with the flashlights, and we couldn't. The thermal nailed them. And Jack says he sees an upright silhouette of a dark figure, human, basically Bigfoot shaped figure. I got a little excited, and I was trying. Because he's telling me, come over here with the thermal. I tried to double time it over there, and that's when I fell, and that's my mistake. I need to not double time it anywhere. So that's where I'll get in trouble. If I would take my time on, if I would have took my time on that, I wouldn't have fallen. But anyway, that even still, that really didn't. Good thing with that, the fall did not cause anything new. Just helped me actually start getting dealt with what was already there. Okay, so now I want to get into let's start getting back to some good things here. Go to the videos, okay? Dan, who is in the chat there, okay, he had a phenomenal catch on this video that we definitely got to talk about, break down and look at. Okay, so in that last video, if you go to about 58:10 and roll and watch when I point the camera up into the sky, I catch and I'm looking for the trees because we were hearing stuff up in the trees. But I unknowingly, I focus on, you can see it focus on what looks like stars. Well, one of those stars, it's standing still, it flickers, and then all of a sudden starts to move, and it bolts like lightning, like takes off warp speed all of a sudden. And yes, I mean, you look at this stuff here. If you want to say there's someone who could, testify before Congress as to what our aircraft that we have, that we know of, can do, we got nothing that can do that. There's a version of the F-35 that can take off straight up and then take off real fast. However, it's loud and it's noisy, and this thing was up high and it was already just sitting there stable. And if it was an F-35, it would have looked different. This looked just like a star, and then you see it flicker, and then it starts to move. I went through my flight app and went through that exact time on the flight app. There was nothing showing on the radar. So I got no clue what it was, but Dan, that was great catch, great eye. I went through and video, and I missed it. I didn't even see it. And I didn't see it in real time, and I was pointed up looking at those darn stars, and I missed it. So that was a phenomenal catch. Again, Dan Frakes, thank you very much. So you got to check that out. Again, it was about, I would set it at 58:10 and watch when I point that up to the sky. Now, what we were having happen there, we found these tracks that made no sense. I mean, just no explanation for it. They had a longer stride than what we could do on any kind of regular basis, but they were these smaller footprints, but they were bipedal. And the one, even part of them that we found, it was a 5-foot stride between the steps, and they're these small feet, but then you seen like a tail drag mark into it. That coupled with the sounds that I caught in that same spot, that the only thing it matched with was baboons. Okay. And again, I stopped at once I found a sound that matched it, I stopped. right there. So, because then I started, but after this night here, I started doing some more research because I'm looking, okay, baboons are found in Africa. And I started to look, I'm like, could these things really survive in like cold and northeast Ohio? And the answer to that is probably not. But there is a type of primate who absolutely could survive in our environment. And there is, I started to look up rhesus. They're called rhesus macaques. It's what you see seen on the picture for this and on the picture for the video. I put a rhesus macaque on there. I looked up what its foot looked like, and it matched the track. It's very close. It's exactly what the tracks that me and Jack found were. Which now this makes zero sense, you know. And I know a lot of you guys that are on here, you're very interested in the cryptid and the Bigfoot stuff. Again, I say wildlife and the unknown, and what I say is what's out there is more and greater and more different species than what our local, state, federal, what they say is out there. You know, that's why I look for all the wildlife. Part of the reasons I look for all the wildlife, because there's a lot more out there than what they are saying is out there. And I know, like, for everyone who's, you know, they're excited to find the Bigfoot stuff, the evidence I found didn't point. I got to go to the way that evidence is pointing, and what everything is pointing to is that there is a population of rhesus macaques out there. They would also make sounds. I started to listen similar to what we caught on video. So I started to look up both baboons and rhesus macaques releases. Okay, as you know, recently in South Carolina, they had a release of them, and they claimed to have caught them all. Okay, at Florida, even around like Ocala, Central Florida, there is a stable population of these rhesus macaques and growing, and they're violent towards people and dangerous. They have this. Most of them are infected with herpes. Okay, which, yeah, so it's like you don't want one to bite you. It'll be the gift that keeps on giving forever. So I am still continuing to research this more. Well, I see that there was a batch of rhesus macaques and nearby here in Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, that were accidentally released. Again, they claim they caught them all. I'm not sure. And in Cincinnati, because someone else, another one of the hunters, caught the same noise that me and MT and Jack caught, but in a different spot in Ohio. Dee's Dark Adventure, she caught the same sound, and she's down in southern Ohio, close to Cincinnati. Well, I did find an article. It's an older one. However, it still might be relevant because there was 50 baboons that escaped from a place 22 miles north of Cincinnati, and there is zero mention. I could find zero mention of them being caught. So, yeah. So Jack Rabbit, hey. So but what we were finding, what we were having happen is it sounded like there was something up in the trees, and we followed the tracks. They go, you know, from the lake, they go bouncing with this very long stride, and go up to a tree and end at the tree because they climbed up the tree. So whatever it was on 2 feet and climbs trees. Interesting. So, and makes noises similar to baboons. So, so I'm adding up the evidence, and it's what it looks like is there is some sort of, whether it's rhesus macaques or baboons or whatever, but there's some sort of primate living here in Northeast Ohio. To me, it's exciting. I don't know if it is for people who want to see Bigfoot stuff. Maybe it's not. But I found that also, when I started looking up Ohio with rhesus macaques, there have been uh, there was thousands of articles of people who had these exotic pets and couldn't take care of them, and these are the ones that they captured. Well, how many people got these pets, couldn't take care of them, and just released them and didn't tell anyone? It's looking like that's what the case is, or from some of these other lab experiments things, they used them to experiment on. So, um, so yeah, I know. Every time I try to use talk to text and say Reese's macaque, it doesn't work. It gives me some kind of weird name. Yeah, but so yes, they use them in developing vaccines. Yes. So, yep, there. Yeah, which again, I'm kind of, as you know, especially the last vaccine that they wanted to come out with, I'm very anti. So, and at this point, where they say you need to not have any more toxins put into you, well, I kind of figured vaccines go into that category. So, so, that's just my okay. That's my little personal opinion, but so we have even more. I have another. The other video will be out Friday. I split it into two. And again, it's that second video. It's with all my equipment already busted. Temperature. We started out. It was 17 degrees at the start of the hike, and by the time we finished, it was 5 degrees out. It was wicked cold. Again, between the environment and just the length of the hike that we did, it was 9.5 miles. Just all our equipment was just giving us fits the entire time. So, which I've had that some other nights where just things just decide to go wrong. So nothing much I can do about it. You know, I just try to do as best of a quality hike as I can. Just try to improvise. So because I mean, my other option is to quit. So gonna see how that goes. Because it's no good when you quit, you know. So I try to make sure that I can do something. Good news is, and I was showing you guys that, I bought the new camera holder, and I bought that saying I'm going to get to it, but it has instructions. And this thing here, and this is all metal too. So when I fall, well, I'm not going to fall. I'm going to do my best to not fall because I need to definitely be aware of that now. But if something happens and this drops, this frame is all metal. So may pop the cameras may fall off or whatever, but the frame of this is not gonna break. I always look at things in the self-defense aspect too. This sucker's metal, and I'm telling you, if you whap someone in the head with it, they're gonna hurt. So you always got to look at it. Things as dual function. So the other one was a plastic and had a battery encased inside of it, and unfortunately, it fell. None of my pockets wanted to, again, nothing wanted to work right. I couldn't get things to go into pockets, and I was going to even try to save the battery pack, and it fell out. So it was just that kind of night. Just everything went wrong. But another thing you guys caught really great on there, Jack was saying he was hearing noises that I couldn't hear. Again, it's 5 degrees out, and I have to have my ears covered. On these winter hikes especially, that's where I need you guys. But you guys caught some sounds that interesting sounds, and it's inconclusive what it is. Hello, Nancy. Thank you for joining. Inconclusive, I guess, would you say? They sound, you know, some people put it down there as barking, maybe, but it's like I was listening to it, and maybe owls, maybe they were almost, to me, they almost sounded like monkeys too. So, which would confirm what we were hearing, or, you know, it confirmed some of the other stuff that we were, but I can't say definitively it was that, but it sounded almost like the hooting of, you know, like monkeys and some of the noises they make. So, that place in particular, this is claim 2. This is Jack's place here that he's found and dubbed. And while there's other people that use that area as a recreation area, you know, I mean, it's prime area, especially at nighttime, unpopulated. And this area has, since I've been involved with cameraman and crew, 4 different times, someone has called the police there. Hello everyone. DJ, Kathy, thank you for joining. 4 different times, someone has called the police there saying something screamed at them from the woods. That right there means that's a hot spot. So that means it's a spot that definitely, you know, and I know Jack is on that. He's checking that out. But again, Jack's caught some very creepy stuff at this place. So maybe multiple things that are there. However, again, especially this night and everything, I think everything is leading towards something that neither of us expected. You know, there are not supposed to be these types of animals in Ohio, and I think what we're finding, while I haven't caught one on video yet, which it would be pretty hard to catch them at night on video, because there's, you know, it's going to be like trying to catch an owl up in a tree. It's going to be pretty, you know, they're hard to catch. They camo good, and these things are not gigantic. So, but the tracks we found were pretty fresh. So, so we definitely got to do some more investigation there. I also am looking at some places into Pennsylvania here. There's some of the stuff I have to wait to the end of February to start hitting. End of February comes, it's going to open up some more areas because that's the end of hunting season. I don't want I want to try to avoid any clashes with hunters. Obvious reasons, but so that also, as far as kind of the stalker update goes, I don't know if they're going to continue. These guys are going to continue or not. They're just going to have a harder time finding me, because I'm not making things as obvious as I was anymore. And if these guys want to follow me for, I mean, for an hour and a half, so would I consider Colorado? Colorado is absolutely beautiful place, but would I consider that? No, because I'm not climbing any mountains anymore. My mountain climbing days are done. So, so also, I don't know if you've looked, I don't know if you're from Colorado, DJ, but what your state's doing with your gun laws right now means I wouldn't, your state's a blue state, and is very anti-gun, and I will not step foot in a blue anti-gun state. So like New York State, I'm not going there. California, not happening. Same thing with Colorado. They want to pass these anti-gun laws, and it means I'm not going to come there and spend my money there. So I get to vote with my wallet and vote with my feet, and that Illinois, those 4 states, they'll get none of my money. So, and they won't get, you know, so it's like they're all out. So I value my freedom too much to walk into a communist state and let them take it away from me. So that's another thing too. Oh, I got to get to something else here. This is more on the bad news end. If you guys look at the chat, yeah, I had a group of about 8 kids, all of them from Oklahoma, that were commenting a whole lot on my videos, talking with me a whole lot. Really made things fun having them on here. And I mentioned in the video, please leave them alone. You know, make sure that you know, remember these are kids. Don't, you know, try not mess with them. I ended up kicking at least, it was a minimum of 20 people who decided after I said that to mess with these kids. Kicked 20 different people from the channel from that. 5 or 6 other ones who just wanted to leave nasty comments just for the sake of being nasty. But these 8 kids have now said they don't feel safe being in my chat, and now they're all gone. So I lost 8 subscribers that I liked, as well as kicked off about 20, probably in the last week and a half, probably 25 to 26 D-bags. And it's not you guys, I know that. Please don't take it that way, or then I'm lecturing you guys. But it had me sad that I said I lost some fans who were some of my original. These guys subscribed to me. They're like some of my original 30 subscribers. Like, they've been with me that long, and they unsubscribed because they said they don't feel safe in my chat. So, and to that, so I now have no comment monitor either anymore. So, because that was my comment monitor, was one of those kids. But some people were just, I mean, put some vile things into some people who were obviously kids. And you know, like I said, I removed them all, but it's just like they kept coming. So there's that's kind of disheartening for me. Not really putting this on for, sorry, my cat is, she's telling me. My cat's got to come over and put her 2 cents in. So anyway, so it was definitely a loss when they said that. Like, I tried my best to protect them. But like I said, they were, because you'd see on my videos, we'd have 200 comments. Half of them would be these kids. So I don't know if you know about the YouTube algorithm. Comments, likes, watch time, all that stuff factors into that algorithm. So they were promoting my videos, and again, they just kind of made it fun. You'd hear me mention them in the videos quite a bit, you know, and kind of made it fun. And they're not on here anymore because people were mean to them, and I couldn't stop them from doing that. So that's just kind of it kind of knocked the wind out of my sails, along with everything else that was happening physically. So you know, I mean, I do have, like I said, and I'm thankful. I've said this before, how thankful I am for you guys. You guys motivate me. So, hey, Elder Bear Claw, thank you. So, a lot of you guys here, because like I said, a lot of you guys are from, you know, also in the cameraman and crew one. You know, like we want a lot of people talking and interacting, and we want you guys to enjoy this as much as we do. And we want, it's like, no drama. We have different beliefs. Me and Jack, me and MT, or whatever. We all have some minor different beliefs, but you never see us fighting or arguing. I also, because got this new AI generator, and I absolutely love the thing, and I'm playing around with it. So I'm like, wonder what this thing will do. And I say Trump signing an executive order saying Bigfoot's real, and oh my gosh, absolutely love the image. So I post that up as a joke. And dear Lord, did I not have some people utterly butthurt because it has Trump in there. It really was not a political post. It was a joke from my, you know, using my AI generator. I love to do humor, but it butthurt some people, and they unsubscribed to me because I put a picture, and an obvious AI generated picture of Trump. And I put it on cameraman's too, and somebody kind of got a little butt hurt. And I said, hold on a second, I got one for you. And I made an AI image of Biden giving Bigfoot a hug goodbye from the Oval Office. So, because it wasn't about that. Yes. Yeah, people don't take Trump jokes. Well, you know, I got to say this. Had he not won the election and Biden was in, I would have put in the AI generator Biden signing an executive order saying Bigfoot's real. You know, even though I ain't a fan of him, but it was funny. It was just wanted to see what this thing would do. And like I said, if you looked at it, it's hysterical and it's obviously fake. Okay, guys, I wish, I honestly wish that executive order happened. However, no, it didn't happen. Is it going to happen? I doubt it. But you know, uh, Joe, I don't know what Joe believes. Uh, but again, I put the picture on there so I had both of them on there because, like I said, I wasn't trying to knock anybody's beliefs, political beliefs. I was just trying to make a joke. And if you know me, humor is going to be involved in everything. Um, as much as it is for me, it is for you. Laughter is medicine. Okay, laughter is medicine. They have scientifically proved that. And if we're that uptight over who's in political office, that we don't like them, that we get vile and can't take a joke, man, you got to be a miserable person. Okay, got to be a miserable person. I want you guys to be into these hikes. I want you guys to smile and laugh and enjoy life too. And so don't I. I'm into this, but I also, it's like, if everything is deadly serious, man, that's no fun. I didn't go through, working in a prison and going through combats by being serious all the time and come out, okay, I used a lot of humor. So it was a lot of humor to get you through that. And one of the things I found working in the prison, oh gosh, yes. Well, a lot of what George Carlin has said, not all, not all, but a lot of the things he said, he was dead right on what was going to happen. So it's funny because it's true. That kind of comment. But as a corrections officer, I had to get violent men who don't like to listen or obey the law or follow rules, and they're in prison. Their life pretty much sucks, and I had to get them to cooperate and do what I wanted them to do. And I found that when you made them laugh, it was funny that not only would they do what I wanted to do, if another inmate wanted to try to be abusive to me, they were stopping that inmate because I made them laugh. And when they laughed, they felt human again. And all of a sudden, they felt a little better because they just had a dose of medicine. So when you see that, the stuff you're going to see on me, it's going to be humor, maybe dry, but it's going to be humor. There's going to be sarcasm. If you hear something on here and you're like, I'm totally offended, I'm going to ask you, please, for the love of God, take a good look at yourself, because you're taking things too serious. It's not that serious. I said, I do take the hiking. I want to bring a good quality video to you guys. I want you guys to watch that. I want you to be like in suspense, ready to see what happens next. But I don't want you guys so uptight you don't enjoy things. So that's T-Mac's advice for life, is to laugh at things. A lot of the stuff that was going on with me, the waiting room I was in, the going into this VA emergency room, it was an utter nightmare. And the only thing I could do is I could have been ticked off and grumpy and upset, or I could have laughed and made jokes at it. So kind of what I chose. And in order to keep my attitude in the right place, I had to do something to make me laugh. And unfortunately, it was the nightmare. I mean, it was horrible with the other people who were waiting there in front of me, and how long they had to wait. And a guy who was waiting in front of me who looked in way worse condition than me, and they went to go make me go in front of him. And I'm like, you need to take this guy first. He's more serious. And they were saying, you either come in now or you're refusing. And I'm like, I'm like looking at this guy going, I'm so sorry. I feel so sorry for you. So Dan, Dan's talking about the bait, so I got to show Dan this for you. If I say it on YouTube, for some reason YouTube does not like this word. Okay, not grandma's, this one. For some reason, every time I say in my comments, I say this word, YouTube removes it. So the only thing I can do is show you the picture of it, I guess. There must be something about that that's dangerous. And again, I could be mad about that, or I could make jokes about it. So, but I do have it. I'm going to be using that in the near future. We'll find out when. I've got to see, weather here in the North Coast has been blustery weather, high wind warnings and all kinds of stuff right now. So kind of some of the trips I have to head far inland to do hikes right now. So because it's just not seeming to cooperate. So, well, Scared Silly, thanks for joining. Glad you're here. If you missed it, YouTube will not let me say this word. They would remove all my content stating that word. So, I don't know. They may let other people put it on there, but every time I say it, they remove my comments. So, yes. So, and again, like I said, hope that, you guys that especially stuck around me for a while know I have a sense of humor, and you can maybe even say it's dark in a way, in that whatever the situation is, I'm probably going to crack a joke. Okay. So, I have you guys have heard my political beliefs, and my political beliefs are that I'm based off of, I want freedom for everyone. I want God-given rights for everyone. So, hey, Infinity 7, thanks for joining. So, as just an update, a lot of the evidence I found on the last hike points to some sort of smaller type of primate with a very long stride, and sounds that would be described as more baboon-like have been found. We've caught and found in Northeast Ohio, and that place too, claim to. There we go. I'm not allowed to give out its location. I know that now more than more than ever, because Jack had to deal with that too, with stalkers. That's why his locations aren't given out. But he calls it's claim to. I always called the place the Lake in the Woods, because that's what it has, this beautiful lake all surrounded completely by these woods. And amongst all the other creepy things that have happened back there, that I had something knock over a tree. So, thank you, I appreciate that. So, knock over the tree there. I've had the weird thing scream at me, and I'm growing and learning at this. I'm not the tech savvy person that even Jack is better at some of this tech savvy stuff than me, because I wish I could play some of the clips for you on there right now, but unfortunately I can't. The big one, the last video, again, 5810. At 5810, go to that point and watch for when I point that camera up in the sky, and watch one of those stars stand still, blink, and then go to, start to move slowly, and then warp speed. Boom. And now I've told you kind of more of my opinions on it. It's a UFO. UFO just means unidentified flying object, okay? And yeah, it matches that, because I can't identify it. It's flying as an object. Okay. Do I think I caught aliens or on this, or what Dan found? Aliens? No. No, absolutely I don't. I know how our government, U.S. Air Force, and the other entities of this government test their aircraft that are still in secret. They're working on their next generations for aircraft. I know how they test them, and they use the UFO. The UFOs, it's a cover. It's a cover for what they're working on. They will run these things over populated areas and then see what people report. What did people see? And that's exactly how they did it with the F-117, the B-2, and several of these other the drones that are still around. There's been some comments. So Trump released what was told to him by the stuff about the stuff being stuff is being a lot of local people, or a lot of local users, some commercial users, and a couple of the government ones. But they're saying little else about that, and unfortunately, not all the bad people have been removed out of our government yet. Within all these different departments, that's in the works, and that's good news. But this is what I think too with the drones. I'm not so sure, because I'm watching us use very sensitive spy and intel gathering equipment, aircraft. I'm watching them fly them back and forth over the U.S., which we never used to do. We did not do it this way. They're monitoring us, and we have, they were worried about the China spy balloon. And we have 7 or 8 of our own spy balloons up over top of us, gathering our information on a daily basis. And it's like, I'm more worried about the ones that our U.S. government has watching us. I can worry about what China's trying to do from way across the Pacific, or I can worry about what my own government's trying to do to me here. So, and make no mistake about it, they have had this massive surveillance program on us. They use UFOs as a cover and as political decoy. Oh, there's a scandal going on here that looks bad for, whatever agenda they're on. They'll all of a sudden say, oh, by the way, UFOs. They get everyone to look the opposite way. That's misdirection tactics. It's the same way that, David Copperfield made the Statue of Liberty disappear, okay? We didn't actually make it disappear, just made it look like it. Misdirection, smoke and mirrors. Our government does that on us, and sadly, we bite for it real easy. If it's something that's tingling to our ears, or is going to make us, they know we're gonna like panic and fear. They love using that. I'm going to quote Bill Clinton, who said, "Never let a good crisis go to waste." So right there you have it. That's been their philosophy ever since. So if they can have something scare you guys, they're gonna, especially our media is gonna cooperate with that. They're gonna do something to scare you, to distract you, because they don't want you digging too deep into their business, into their corrupt business that they're doing. So, again, the drones, I think more, and why they're not wanting to say much about it is I think it's something we're testing, quite honestly. And it's like, well, why were they seen over military bases? Probably because we're testing them. So that would be why. So don't jump to, if everyone says to be afraid, be very afraid. Don't bite at that. There's common sense things of what I would say is, don't expect your government to come help you. So, ask everyone in California and Hawaii and everything, and Tennessee and North Carolina, how well that's worked out for them. So I think you definitely need to take your own preparations. So you got to do your own. You got to make your own preparations, because our government just doesn't like that anymore. So you can't depend on them. So that's sad, but that's the way it is. All right, I'm going to go into, let's say, the drones. That was a comment from one of you guys there that got me onto that topic. If you want to say either pertaining to the video, pertaining to Jack's videos, or MTs or any of the other rest of the group, if you have something on any of their videos, I'd be glad to talk about that. You know, like I said, I mentioned that Dee's Dark Adventure caught the same noises that we did, although we were a lot closer. And not affiliated with her, but nonetheless, she caught some good evidence there. That's definitely, I don't know, she thought they were like gorilla. She said gorillas mating. Well, I can understand how she got that, but like I said, the sound I heard, I was definitely able to compare that to baboons, and it was like, I'm like, wow, that's what I heard, and it makes no sense. So, and neither does those tracks. So I have some of them on this video, and I think some on the video coming out Friday. But definitely see what your take is on these tracks that we follow. And we mentioned some of them because when I fell, this is the other thing too. I dropped about $1,000 of equipment and didn't notice it until we were probably 2.5 miles away from where I dropped it. And we had to stop and retrace our tracks. And if Jack wasn't with me, I would have never found the stuff. Which would have been devastating to, it would just would have been real devastating, because I dropped the wireless hole puncher, didn't notice it, one of them anyway, and dropped the O-light, which is, if you're not familiar with that light, that's a $330 flashlight. It's not cheap, it's top notch, and as you guys see, it lights up the area, man. That sucker works great. So it's like, it's been worth every penny I paid for it. However, I don't want to replace it yet. But thanks to Jack, we were able to find, on our way to finding it, we found some very weird tracks. When we were hiking into this spot, we found, which for Ohio calls them, they say there's no wolves in Ohio. They say they're coyote hybrid. But this was got to be the biggest track that me and him both ever found. Jack put some of the pictures on his page, but I could not believe the size of these things, and they were actually very fresh. So we were like actually on the lookout for a very large, very, very large, very, very large coyote, because ones that size wouldn't hesitate to be aggressive towards us too, especially in the wintertime when they're hurt and looking for food. But they say also this is coyotes like mating season. They said the males in particular are a lot more aggressive. This track was so large, that had to be a male. So it looked like, just guessing off of the footprint size was so big, it was like this, and you can see it on Jack's there, but that didn't be a 100-pound coyote at least, maybe more. Okay, we'll see, what do we got for questions? Yeah, tracks were definitely concerning. Yes, when it's like, I'm used to following deer track or raccoons or all that stuff, and you can tell it's got 4 feet. You can tell literally on those tracks, you can see 4 different sets of whether it's hoofs or paw prints coming down. You can see that. These ones were bipedal. So yeah, the coyotes definitely running packs, and we have out in that area, we've heard coyote. In one of the areas not very far from there that we've went to, we had coyote sounding off like crazy. So do no apologies. Well, I mean, when you watch this video, I definitely got to apologize, because like I said, I blew it when Jack was seeing something and needed that thermal camera on there. I biffed it and busted up the camera. Or, well, the camera's fine, but busted up the holder. And the bad part is, I don't have enough. I wish, like on these hikes, I'm like, I wish I had 3-4 hands. That would do it, because it's like, I just don't have enough hands, I always think of like Spider-Man, like Doc Octopus there, where he puts the pack on his back that gives him extra arms. I need that. That would be great for my hikes. So, um, but because I busted that holder, there was like no repairing it, snapped it in half. Like I mean, it was total garbage at that point. Um, so I had to hold the camera, and when I have to hold that, um, it's a lot more shaky. So and that's what I'm like. I can definitely still give you guys a good video. I just had to tell you guys in it, hey, this one's gonna probably be a little more shaky. You know, this one's gonna be a little bit more like the Blair Witch. So, which I hate that because, you know, it kind of takes away. I want the quality of the video as best I can. Again, I'm my own worst critic. However, I want you guys to have my big thing. So I want you guys to enjoy that. I want you guys in this as much as I am, because you guys have been a big help to me. So, have I thought about, GoPro? I have. I bought GoPro's most advanced before I bought the thermal camera. I bought their most advanced one that they said they said it does great at night hike. Well, they advertised it as great at night hikes. They revised it to like evening and dusk. I took that out on a hike and it was horrendous. I mean, just garbage. Even with the very bright light on, this thing could not see in the dark. I returned it and complained to the company and to some of the people who were promoting it on YouTube about, hey, that's false advertisement. It does not do that. To which they ended up, went back and forth with me, and then finally admitted, yeah, you're right, it won't do that. So no matter what no matter what you do to the settings, GoPro, I do not have a good opinion of them. As I said, it was garbage, and not only that, that was a hike. You know, you say it's location, the location being in the right time, having the camera pointed at the right place. I got that this night when I pointed it up the sky. It was the right time. You know, that seems to be rare. That night I used the GoPro. I ran into 2 fisher cats. Okay, as you know, fisher cats are endangered. They're one of the ones I'm always out looking for. I ran into 2 of them and was hoping that the GoPro would record it. And that thing, I kid you not, it couldn't see, even with a bright flashlight, could not see more than about 6 feet in front of me. It was terrible. And it was so frustrating, because one of the animals that I'm out specifically stating as a goal that I wanted to find, I found, and the GoPro could not pick it up. And it was total frustration. So the money that I got back from then tried to go to Best Buy, and I was going to buy another camera that was supposedly really good for night hikes. And I fortunately checked it while I was in the car, because Best Buy is not close to me. And I open it up, and the camera is there. There is no battery. There is none of the other parts that are all supposed to be in it. All the rest of the pack was empty. It was a camera that was completely inoperable. And so I had to bring it right back in, and they had me fuming. They got called a couple of explicitives there, and just got my money back. And I ordered the thermal camera instead. So, and the thermal camera has been nothing short of phenomenal. And again, more frustrating that my thermal got knocked out for this video is because at the start of it, it was doing great. It was catching things we could not see with our eyes. And yeah, so it was incredibly frustrating, because we had stuff around us, and we couldn't catch it. We couldn't catch it on video. There was a lot of stuff around it, and because we didn't have that thermal camera, we could not catch it on. Everything was staying back far enough away from us that we couldn't catch them. there was quite a bit of stuff out there. The tracks we were finding were very fresh, and we couldn't see them with our regular eyes, and we couldn't catch it on camera. Couldn't catch the eye shine with our flashlights. The thermal camera, I guarantee you, we'd have had a completely different night if I had that thermal camera. So that's why I kicked myself on that. The holder smashed. The holder got smashed. Thankfully, the thermal camera is okay. And another credit to this thermal camera, because that took the fall. It's taken like 4 or 5 falls, and it still worked great. And I had Tinker's Hollow that I had that almost wrenched, clamped onto my camera holder, and it got literally flung off and smacked me in the chest with a force. Like something flung that off in Tinker's Hollow. Which sadly I will never be able to, because of the 3 men who are out attempting to stalk me. When I am in Tinker's Hollow, I can't say I'm there now. So I can give you some of the details, but I can't say where I'm at now anymore. I have to come up with different names for places. So, so what do you got there, DJ? Yeah. How I have this set up, I have the camera facing this way, and I got my computer off to the side to see your chat. So, yeah, it's frustrating when you go out there to do all that work and something happens that just wrecks it. Yeah, it was. I mean, I still posted up what the GoPro did because I said, all right, guys, we're testing this out. But even in the daytime, the GoPro, I did it side-by-side comparison with the GoPro and iPhone 14. And there was deer that were coming up to me, and I could catch them on the iPhone, and the GoPro couldn't see them. Just does not have, it can't see, it could not even in the daytime see distance good. And that was their most advanced, their whatever 15 Hero Plus or whatever, it was their latest model, supposed to be their greatest camera made for hiking is what they said. And it didn't, my iPhone 14 beat it in a head-to-head comparison in the daytime and the nighttime. So that was disheartening. So, because like they're like literally saying this is supposed to be the best thing, and it's not. So, all right, I want to go over if you guys got any other questions. The thermal camera is still working. I got it off on the side over here. Okay, right here is our camera. I got it charging up. Still works great. Thankfully, it's pretty tough. It's taken a licking. I put a lot of my equipment. It gets tested pretty thoroughly. I don't intentionally try to damage it. I'm just rough period, just the things I'm doing. So you see all my get up down here in the command bunker. So as you see, you know, I did munitions. I was blowing things up. We call it ammo. That big plaque, they do like a Hall of Fame thing, and I'm a Hall of Famer in ammo. So that's why that plaque's always up in the background. Just wanted to show you that. But so I worked on the A10 Warthog, and I'm just going to give you just a little tidbit. We're going to kind of break from some of the other stuff. You know, I love our wireless hole punchers. The bigger bullet, the better. This is the shell casing of a 30 millimeter fired out of the A10 Warthog. This is a freaking bad bullet, man. I love this sucker. And every time I got to hear that A10 fire it, man, it just, I don't know, it made my heart just, I don't know if you say burst with pride or just, yes, there you go, Matt. Sound like you are a prior service guy. That's a lot of what military know, because our infantry absolutely loves that. That's what comes saves them. That was my mission in combat, was to keep our infantrymen alive. So, and that thing is just, it's like a flying tank, and just love seeing what it did. But I got to have some souvenirs from it, so I wanted to show you some of that. because you see all the stuff in the background, and it is just over the years, all the medals, different plaques, all that stuff. And um, so if you were in the service too, drop that in the comments, because let me tell you, I got to work very closely with Navy. I got to work real close with Navy SEALs, because I got to be their air support. With the Marines and the Army, I got to work very close with their infantry. Absolutely love them. Talk about the I guess you'd say the finest bunch of crazy bastards that there is. Is And I love it, because, like I said, crazy. They have like my mentality. So yes, I was Air Force. I did the first 6 years as military police, and switched over where I had a lot of fun was being munitions. Now my job was to blow things up. So, but so just wanted to show you some of that. This is not bragging, but I do like to us war veterans. Yes, Shaw Air Force Base. I got to be there when I was security forces. Early in my career, I got to spend 50 days there filling in for some other troops who were deployed over to Iraq right after the Iraq invasion. And I was at Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina. Got to do some cool things while I was down there. However, the first 21 days, it rained, and yet the heat index was over 100 degrees every time. So you talk about a just rough, hot and humid and rainy. But I still had a good time there. And I'm not sure what they have now, but at the time they had multiple squadrons of F-16s. So yeah, total steam box. So, and again, I feel like now I'm starting to take up your time with stuff that's not involved. My cat. Okay, I have 2 cats. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about them. Roxy, which is my full jet black cat. She's the house supervisor. She makes everyone's got to get moving along with the schedule for her, or she's up there yelling at them, screaming at them. And that was her. She's coming down here telling me it is time to go. I have to do other things. So my other cat, her name's Patches. Call her also Punk, because she's Punk. She just she's a love, but she also just really doesn't care about a lot of things too. So, but they're sisters, and they do make a great combo. So, but Roxy is Roxy's our house supervisor. She's yelling at me that it's time to end this. So, and when the supervisor speaks, you better listen. So, all right, guys. So from Long Island, okay, Larry, appreciate you. Hey, guys, those of you especially, just because, again, I'm retired after 20 years in the Air Force. People who are veterans in there, I want to say, if you are from one veteran to another, God bless you and thank you. I know other people thank you for their service, and it's nice hearing that. Some people have just no clue what it means, but when you have somebody who knows the sacrifice of who paid that same sacrifice, and they tell you thank you, there's like a deeper meaning to that. I got to be in for a while, and the people who were before me, who were defending me when, well, let's face it, I was capable of joining sooner and didn't. Other people were defending me even though I could and didn't. Because it's like, it was, they paved the way for me, and they gave me the freedom that I so richly appreciate and blessed and thankful for. Okay, they gave me that freedom. So I spent just under 21 years doing that same for everyone else, and it's because I always want people to have that freedom to, whether they want to or don't want to, whether their option is they want to join the military, good. If they don't, good. I want you to have that right and freedom. But so um, um, also with that, sorry, I was getting some other comments on there. But I do want to say, like, now that I'm retired and busted up, there's other people out there defending my freedom right now, and I am so deeply grateful to them. I consider their purpose and their mission godly, because we'll say this real quick: there's only two people in this world who have offered to lay down their lives for you, for your freedom, and that is Jesus, who paid the ultimate price for you, for your spiritual freedom, and your ability to be able to go to heaven, and the American soldier, who has laid down and given his life so that you can have freedom here on earth and have the freedom to choose Jesus. So that's the category I put it in. So, all right, guys, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. While the medical problems are advancing, I'm going to give you, there's more hikes in me, and I'm not going to be stopping, but I also am going to be getting on trying to I'll be doing a lot of medical appointments coming up here in the future. That's what my life is going to be. It's going to be a lot of medical appointments, and then there's going to be hikes, nighttime mostly. If I can get somebody with me, great. If I can't, great. I'm still going to do them. Just can't say my location anymore. But all right, so guys, I want to say thank you for joining me. Thank you for being part of this, because as I've said, this has been my comeback story from my injuries. And so I'm going to do this until I no longer can. So my words that I put on here, everyone's going to be able to listen to these and come back and hear my words and see my face when I was healthy and at my best doing some of the stuff I love. And they're going to be able to come back and see this whenever they want. So life is fleeting, so enjoy it. And again, your mission here in life is to prepare for your court trial that is coming up upon your death. Okay, so guys, do your best to prepare for your court trial. Okay, be kind to one another. Love the Lord your God with all your heart. And I want to say God bless you and thank you for all that you've done. And be looking forward to the new video Friday. Remember, check out where Dan's comment. If you even go into Dan's comment, he has it at 58:13. It was actually slightly before that. You'd want to go about 58:10 in that video. You'll be able to see that. And be looking forward for the next video and future videos. There's going to be a lot more. Okay. Thank you very much, and God bless you. All right. Say goodbye here.